Welcome to The Explainer. I am so glad you're here today. We're going to synthesize some of the latest kind of fragmented reports from places like the Indeed Hiring Lab and LinkedIn's Talent Blog, and we're going to uncover some really surprising truths about the 2026 labor market. If you've been feeling like hiring is somehow standing completely still while simultaneously moving at light speed, you are definitely not alone. There's this massive contradiction happening right now in the world of work, and we're going to break down exactly what the data says is really going on. This quote from Laura Ulrich at the Indeed Hiring Lab perfectly captures the stagnant macroeconomic environment we are sitting in right now. She's referring to the June 2026 jobs report here, and she describes the labor market as an unmoving tide. The wild hiring surge we saw a few years ago completely calmed, and the massive wave of layoffs, that subsided too. We're basically stuck in this slack water. But, as she warns, slack water cannot hold forever. Eventually, something has to give. But right beneath this unmoving tide, the water is actually a whole lot choppier than it looks. Nearly 16% of active job seekers are already working multiple jobs. That tells us there's a hidden, coiled tension in the workforce right now. People are actively maneuvering, trying to supplement their income, and hunting for new opportunities, even if the overall headline data makes it look like nobody is going anywhere. Here is the roadmap for our explainer today. First, the unmoving labor market. Second, AI beyond the tech sector. Third, the skills-first revolution. And finally, building talent from within. Section 1. The unmoving labor market. Stagnation on the surface. Let's dive right in and look at what the overall hiring data is actually telling us. According to the May 2026 JOLTS report from Indeed, quit rates have just drastically fallen. If we compare May 2022 to May 2026, we see this massive decline across nearly every single industry as a share of employment. It's essentially the exact opposite of the Great Resignation. Employees are just staying put. They're holding on to their current roles, which means the external talent pool is tightening up, not because of a hiring boom, but because of a massive drop in turnover. So the crucial point here is that we are living in a total paradox. The headline numbers might occasionally boast strong job gains, but those are largely driven by very specific sectors like private education and health services. The actual reality on the ground for recruiters and hiring managers is an environment of weak active hiring and minimal movement. The big numbers look fine, but the day-to-day reality of sourcing fresh talent feels incredibly sluggish. Section 2. AI beyond the tech sector. The high-speed undercurrent. Let's see how explosive, aggressive shifts are happening right beneath that stagnant surface. AI exposure is completely flipping from a story of job destruction into a story of widespread job creation, specifically across non-tech roles. The old paradigm was, AI was just for software engineers and data scientists, but according to recent occupation spotlights, the new reality is that AI is spreading across all job titles. The fastest growing clusters of non-tech jobs with AI directly in the title are actually in things like AI training, instruction, coaching, and corporate teaching. AI is no longer just a localized tech phenomenon. It's a universal skill requirement sweeping through the entire enterprise. In fact, industry leaders over on LinkedIn predicts that within just 6 months, AI will fundamentally redefine entire professions, starting with recruiting itself. Recruiters are going to have to transition into consultants who leverage AI for high-level strategy rather than just basic sourcing. And a massive part of that human strategy is relationship building, even when the answer is no. This brings up a brilliant point from the folks at Choose Marketers. Most companies think a rejection ends the relationship, but it's actually where your reputation is built. A rejected candidate isn't the end of a hiring process. They're still a vital part of your employer brand. Taking the time to give a clear decision and constructive, respectful feedback builds incredible trust. The reality is, a candidate you don't hire today could become your customer, a referral source, or the absolute perfect fit for a future role. Ultimately, how you reject candidates says just as much about your company as how you hire them. Section 3. The skills-first hiring revolution. The structural pivots. With the types of required jobs changing so quickly due to AI, let's explore how companies are strategically responding. If we need highly adaptable talent to navigate AI integration, we really have to ask ourselves a hard question. Are traditional educational pedigrees holding us back? Think about it. When the half-life of a learned skill is shrinking by the day, does a 4-year degree from a decade ago really tell you if a candidate can implement agentic AI tomorrow? Well, the consensus from top industry minds is a resounding yes. At the Cannes Lions Festival, leaders like Karun Kimbrough and Michelle Hillman argued passionately that degrees simply do not define talent. They issued a massive call to action to, quote, tear down the paper ceiling. This paper ceiling, which is basically the requirement of a bachelor's degree for roles where it isn't truly necessary, is actively preventing companies from accessing the diverse, capable, and hungry talent they desperately need right now. And this defines the new standard, skills-first hiring. It means using real-world capabilities and future potential as your new hiring currency. By shifting the focus away from traditional pedigrees and leveraging AI to match actual skills to open roles, organizations can unlock a massive pool of completely untapped talent. This isn't just some passing HR trend. It is an absolutely critical business strategy to boost inclusion and ensure your workforce is truly ready for the future. Section 4. Building talent from within, the internal solution. Now, let's dive into our final section and see exactly where top companies are finding this skills-based talent when the external market is so tight. Instead of fighting over a stagnant external talent pool where nobody is quitting, the most innovative organizations are focusing on the people who are already inside their building. They're recognizing that when external hiring is slow and expensive, internal career development isn't just a nice little perk for employees, it is the absolute lifeblood of the company's growth strategy.
We're seeing companies successfully scale AI innovation by following these exact steps to empower their employees. Take Visa, for example. They put AI right at the center of their talent strategy by combining role-specific AI upskilling with peer-to-peer learning. Or look at Teradata, which built a really powerful growth culture where employees are actively encouraged to take total ownership of their own career development. You unify the systems, you provide the targeted upskilling, and you build a culture where learning is highly rewarded. Absolutely stunning example of this in action comes from New York Life. They unified their talent ecosystem and managed to upskill 12,000 employees in AI and career coaching. Just think about the sheer magnitude of that for a second. Instead of trying to hire thousands of new AI experts in a market where everyone is basically hoarding talent, they built a massive internal workforce of innovators completely from the ground up. Ultimately, what you should take away from this explainer is exactly this concept. The best hire you can make today is developing the talent you already have. Internal upskilling, guided by a skills-first mindset, is for sure the most reliable engine for growth in an otherwise completely unmoving labor market. I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. You've seen the data. The surface of the market is stagnant, but those undercurrents of AI and skills-based hiring are moving incredibly fast. If this unmoving tide holds, you just can't afford to wait for the wind to change. You have to build the tools, the upscaling platforms, the internal talent architectures, that consultant mindset for candidate relationships to row yourself forward. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to review your own talent strategy for 2026 through